Today I am going to be doing a tag video. Shawn from Shawn the Book Maniac did create this tag called the BookTube Parasite Tag, and he tagged me in it, and you know, it just felt like such a fun tag, and there was ample opportunity for me to kind of do my own thing with it. So this is what this video is. Now, I will link down below Shawn's original video. He gives a much more in-depth explanation as to what the tag actually is. However, ultimately, just to sum it up kind of quickly, is that you choose one booktuber and you choose a video or some of their videos. You can go back way back to the start of their channel, or you can choose one of their most recent videos. And you just kind of go through their books that they mention, and you can talk about those books and you can share your opinions, or you can actually really do anything you want that is kind of both, you know, drawn from this one booktuber's content. And it just looked like a great opportunity to not only kind of introduce yourself to books you might not usually read, but to also kind of interact with another booktuber, which sometimes is a bit hard to do when you're just talking by yourself to a camera. Now, the booktuber who I am parasiting on? What's the verb? The booktuber upon whom I am the parasite is Ashleigh from A Frolic Through Fiction. Now, I have loved Ashleigh's videos ever since I kind of came onto BookTube to make content myself, and she's really supported my own channel, which I really appreciate. And I chose her videos because Ashleigh is a literature student. So she has this sort of perception of literature in a way that, you know, a lot of booktubers do who also study literature, but in a way that I don't, because I haven't studied it since AS level. And because of that, she reads quite a wide mix of books. She predominantly reads YA fiction, and then she also reads the classics, and she's beginning to kind of venture out and read a lot more non-fiction and some more adult fiction too. So it's really interesting to see her channel. And then I'm going to go through those videos and kind of talk about some of the books that interest me the most, and some of the books that are ones I probably had never even heard of or probably don't have any interest in. However, this video is all going to remain in good spirits. I think the point of this tag isn't to bitch about someone else's channel or to police someone else's reading. It's about enjoying other people's content and branching out into new ways of reading that you might not otherwise get the opportunity to do. Now, I've seen booktubers do similar things where they get other booktubers to choose their TBR, or they get their boyfriends to choose their TBR. So the way that I see my version of doing this BookTube Parasite Tag is kind of amalgamating all of these different ideas and doing it my way, how I would like to do it. So I've got my laptop behind me and I've got a big glass of squash. So I'm going to look through all of Ashleigh's videos, both her wrap-ups and her book hauls that she has posted in the year 2018. So the plan is, out of all the videos that I watch from Ashleigh channels, I'm going to choose 5 books in total that I am going to treat myself to, in the hopes of picking up something I wouldn't normally pick up. So let's get to watching the videos. Insert some magic editing stuff now. So let's go onto Ashleigh's channel and to her videos. Now, what I'm doing is I'm looking at all of her videos, all of her book hauls and her wrap-ups that she's posted in the year 2018. So that starts with, I think, this one, which is the December wrap-up. Yeah, January 12th, 2018.
Hello everyone, I'm Ashleigh, and today I'm going to be doing my...
So I've just kind of looked at the info box of the books that she's kind of posting, and straight off the bat I can see one that I do want to read. So let's try to see if I can skip to that part.
And finally, I read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. I picked this up ages ago, but I had to put it back down again because of university work.
I really want this edition of... what is it, Doctor Strange and Mr. Norrell? Jonathan Strange? Yeah, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I really want this cover in particular, because Davide bought me the same Bloomsbury classic of The Song of Achilles, and I kind of now want to collect all of them. Okay, so it is a massive book, and Ashleigh really enjoyed this one. And this is kind of one of the reasons why I suggested that she might enjoy The Magicians. It kind of sounds of a similar vein to that, although, you know, this one sounds there isn't any magic. You can study it, but it doesn't exist until these people come along. So that is one that I definitely have on my radar. Now, let's go to her next one, which is, it's the huge collective book haul and bloopers.
We also have Zenith by Sasha Alsberg and Lindsay Cummins, which I believe...
I don't think I need to really say much about Zenith. So I'm sure a lot of people who watch kind of the YA BookTube know all about Sasha Alsberg and Lindsay Cummins and Zenith, and of course there is also a lot of drama going on about this book.
This one is The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. This is a historical fantasy set in 18th century Cairo. That's all I needed to know to want this book.
So I have heard a few things about this book, and I am kind of interested, but I just don't know, because I've kind of been ruined by a lot of books that get overhyped. Strange the Dreamer is definitely one of them.
And then the other book she got me was Scottish Folk and Fairy Tales from Burns to Buchan. She knows that I love reading about myths, folklore, fairy tales, all things like that, but I've not read any from Scotland, and that surprises me.
I don't think I've actually read any fairy tales or folklore from Scotland. Have I? I'm not sure, but I do like the Selkies, and they're kind of from like Northern Ireland and Scottish and Nordic mythologies, so I think I would probably be interested in that one.
I also have England, England by Julian Barnes. As every schoolboy knows, you can fit the whole of England on the Isle of Wight. Grotesque visionary tycoon Sir Jack Pittman takes... And finally, the final book in this rather large haul is The Children of Jocasta by Natalie Haynes. I've been wanting this book for so long, but
I have been wanting this book for quite a while too. I specifically love the cover that Ashleigh has. Really, really like it. However, it is hardback, so I am not sure whether I will be able to get that cover. So we're going to look at some of her other videos now.
This one is a dramatised retelling of Dino Smith's, kind of like...
This book does look so lovely. Although I don't know. On the one hand, I would be really interested in it, but on the other hand, it's massive. Like, it is literally almost twice the size of Ashleigh's head, and I'm sorry, Ashleigh, for pausing on a really unflattering shot. There we are, that's better.
This, again, I found to be a really fun read. I don't know much about Batman.
I hate Batman. I'm not so big into superheroes, but Iron Man and Batman are my least favourite. My favourite superhero is definitely the X-Men.
And the final book that I read in January was Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad.
So I kind of want to read this, but Ashleigh hated it, and I'm worried that I will hate it too. I don't know. I have got Joseph Conrad's Tomorrow in the Little Black Classics. Right, now, which one next? Ooh, okay, so now we got another book haul. So I think it's another big book haul too. So it's her books from February to March.
The first one being State of Sorrow by Melinda Salisbury. I've read a couple of Melinda Salisbury's other books, which is why I accepted this one to review, because I really enjoyed those ones.
Okay, so this cover is wonderful. Also, I know that Ashleigh did a giveaway for this book. I think I entered the giveaway, but I didn't win. I think the concept of it sounds nice, but the thing that I'm like most interested in is that cover. It's just like, it's kind of the cover that you want to covet.
The first one being Women in Power by Mary Beard.
So this one has also been doing the rounds of BookTube. However, it's kind of been doing the rounds with the British adult BookTubers. It's not one that I think I don't have any interest in reading it. It's not going to be something that I'm going to be like, oh yes, this is mind-changing. It's really, given me lots of room to ruminate on.
And with that gift card, I picked up Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier.
I really, really need to read this book. I need to read du Maurier anyway.
My next one is another pre-order, and I'm actually currently reading it right now, but that is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi.
I think everyone's probably heard of this book by now. It has got so much, it's been raved about everywhere. Got so much attention, got a movie deal, everything. I think I have my doubts about it. I'm quite dubious. I want to read it, but I'm worried about reading it, and I just don't know. And I know Debbie from the Book Ponderer, she DNF'd this book. Like, I think it could be a good book for me. Well, everyone seems to love it, but I don't think it will be the book for me. But I do want to read it because it might be a book for me, and I might really enjoy it.
The first book that I read this month was The Passion by Jeanette Winterson.
So I do really want to read Jeanette Winterson, and I think I have watched the video before, of course, and Ashleigh goes on to explain it. It does sound the kind of book I enjoy, even though she says it doesn't really have a plot. I think I would still enjoy it quite a lot. So, you know, but that's possibly one. Hello, so I'm in a different location now. So I've reviewed Ashleigh's videos again, and I've decided to choose my top 5, which I think I would probably go out and buy. Now, because it's the Parasite tag, I thought, you know, I should actually challenge myself here a little bit, and I should possibly choose books that I might not otherwise choose. So the first one I chose is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I can't remember the author's name. I'm really bad. But the picture will be beside me. Now this one probably actually isn't a challenge because I do really want to read it. And I probably will buy it anyway because I want this collection of books to match with the lovely edition of The Song of Achilles that David Eyre bought for me. However, it's one I really want to buy, so I thought, well, why not? The next one is City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. I think that's how you say it. Yeah, I think it's one that it sounds really good and I would be really interested in it, but I probably wouldn't ever go out and buy it myself, and if I saw it in a bookshop I don't think I would pick it up. And then the next one, again, I think maybe this one isn't actually much of a challenge. I chose The Passion by Jeanette Winterson because, yeah, it's one I would like to read, and it's about time I pick up Jeanette Winterson. I keep on seeing her works in the bookshop and I'm like, should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I, and I never do, and I probably never will, to be honest. So this actually, yeah, so this is, I think, is a good excuse to buy it. And then the next one is State of Sorrow by Melinda Salisbury. Again, cover is beautiful. It's not one I don't think I would ever buy otherwise, so why not? And the last one is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. This one actually probably I would have bought eventually, perhaps when the hype died down. But maybe for once in my life I can get on with the hype train, but then at the same time I might not actually enjoy it, so because it's one of those books I don't think you're allowed to not enjoy. So I'm a bit nervous about that one. So these are the sort of the 5 books that I think I would like to buy from Ashleigh's videos. However, I want to take this challenge one step further, and I asked Ashleigh to also review all these videos and for her to choose 5 books that she thinks I will enjoy. And then I'm going to look at her list, look at my list, and then make a final choice and go and buy those books. So let's go over to Ashleigh.
Hello Matthew and the lovely people of Matthew's channel. I'm Ashleigh and I've heard that you, Matthew, have been a parasite on my channel. Not that I would ever call anyone a parasite for watching my videos, that seems a little bit harsh. But you asked me to choose out 5 books that I would recommend you from my book hauls and wrap-ups from this year, and so that's exactly what I've done. I actually found this so hard to do because I don't think we read similar books all that often, but I have chosen 2 that I've read and 3 that I haven't read. So we'll see how this goes. I'll start with the 2 that I have read, the first one being The Passion by Jeanette Winterson. Now with this one I feel like I'm cheating a little bit because you have told me that you're interested in this book, but out of all the books that I've read this year so far, I feel like this one is the one that would probably suit you the most anyway, so I probably would have chosen it had you not commented on that video and said you were interested. This is a book that I found hard to explain because I feel like it doesn't have much of a plot, but it's set during the Napoleonic Wars and just basically follows 2 people as they navigate through their lives. Now I've chosen this one because it's one of those books that you can analyse. It's a very different take on the Napoleonic Wars and it follows 2 people that don't necessarily matter to the overarching story. However, it very much focuses on them and the places they go instead. I think this is a book that has really interesting dynamics between characters as well, which I feel like you might enjoy, Matthew. And as I mentioned in my video, it does have quite lyrical writing that suits the magical realism aspect of it perfectly, and that is the side that you said you were particularly interested in. So I do think that this one might be for you. Now the next one I've chosen I'm not really sure about, but I've decided to throw it in anyway, but that is The Celsius Tales by Robert Louis Stevenson. Now I've not seen you read many classics besides the Penguin Little Black classics, but I feel like if you were to pick up a classic, this is one of the more understated ones that you might appreciate more than the typical literary canon types like Jane Austen or the Bronte sisters, because this is basically just a collection of short stories inspired by folktales of Samoa. It's inspired by his travels there and could actually act like a travel diary from the 19th century. As you might imagine, it has aspects of culture behind it as well, however it is written during a time of colonialism, so it does have quite a bit of racist content in there, just to warn you off that. However, as far as enjoyment goes, it is quite a dark set of stories inspired by the mythologies and folktales of another culture, and I think that might be something you are particularly interested in based off what I've seen you read before. Moving on to the books that I haven't read, and from this point on, if you read any of these and hate them, I claim ignorance because I haven't read them myself. I'm basing this entirely off my own idea of what these books are about, rather than the actual content. The first one of them being a bit of a wild card because I'm really not sure about it, but we'll see. But that is England, England by Julian Barnes. This is about someone who sets up an island and puts on it everything that stands for English heritage. So things like the White Cliffs of Dover, the London Eye. Now in my mind you're someone who very much likes to read about or analyse aspects of society and culture. Now while that might not be English culture, I do think that this book might bring up questions that you find particularly interesting, or even just elements that you might be able to twist into your other areas of interest. Julian Barnes seems like a really popular author as well, and when I have a quick flick through, the text seems to have small quirks about it that might make it a little bit more interesting. And on the back it also says that it calls into question ideas of reality versus art, nationhood, myth-making, and those are kind of things that I associate with you, because you do tend to analyse art and you just delve into areas of society like that, so yeah, I've chosen this one out. Next up we have The Day of the Triffids by John Wyndham. I don't know whether you've mentioned to me before that you want to read this one, but for some reason this is one that I automatically jumped to when you set me up with this challenge. This one is a sci-fi about a cosmic event that happens, which basically renders the entire population blind. As if that wasn't enough, there's also carnivorous plants coming down to wipe out the rest of the people that don't automatically fall into extreme trouble from going blind. I feel like if you were to pick up a sci-fi, it would be this kind of sci-fi that's more unique. Not necessarily space battles and technology, but more just something major has gone wrong on Earth and it's alien to us and we need to figure out what it is. I myself am also particularly interested to see how the society in this adapts to everybody going blind, because as you can imagine, society isn't fit for the entire population to not be able to see. And I feel like that might be something that you yourself are interested in as well, Matthew. And the final book that I chose out was The Children of Jocasta by Natalie Haynes. This is a Greek mythology retelling of the Oedipus and Antigone stories from the perspectives of the women. Now this one I chose out because you've been interested in similar books, basically. I know that you've read The Song of Achilles and really enjoyed that one, and I think you've expressed interest in reading Circe by Madeline Miller too, and this one just sounds like it's in the same vein. This book also reminds me of the Femiori videos you did, and even the ones where you pair up a book to a film director, because I think in those you've mentioned you would like a director to focus the story from someone else's perspective, which is exactly what this book does. So I feel like this might be one that you enjoy, one, out of pure entertainment, and two, for the new perspective given on an ancient story. But yes, these are the books that I chose out for you, Matthew, from my book hauls and wrap-ups of this year. I don't know how well I did. I'm sure I'll find out soon, but yeah, I quite enjoyed this challenge.
Okay, so I have just watched the video that Ashleigh sent to me for her 5 suggestions, and I'm really pleasantly surprised. I think she's actually chosen better books for me than I chose for myself. She of course chose The Passion by Jeanette Winterson, which was also on my list of 5, and then she also chose The Children of Jocasta. Now, I didn't put that on my list of 5 to buy because I was worried that, you know, I really love the cover of the hardback and I'm not so keen on the cover of the paperback, but I would only buy the paperback. However, hearing Ashleigh suggest it to me just shows that I just need to kind of buck up my ideas and go and buy the paperback. So The Passion and The Children of Jocasta are ones that I definitely want to get. Now, the other 3 that she suggested kind of went under my radar, actually. The Day of the Triffids is one that I do really want to read, and I have been wanting to read it for a while, and I know Davide wants to read it too. And we've both come across it in bookshops every now and then, and I'm always like, oh, should I buy it? Should I buy it? But I never do. So actually, this is the perfect time and perfect suggestion for exactly the kind of sci-fi that I think I would enjoy. And then when Ashleigh suggested England by Julian Barnes, it sounded perfect. I hadn't heard of it before. I completely missed it when I was watching her videos, and it does sound really, really up my street and covers the sort of themes that I do genuinely enjoy. And then, of course, the last one is the Tales from the Southsea, which, like Ashleigh said, I'm not much of a classics reader, and I do want to read more classics. And this one, despite, its racist undertones or whatever, is one that I definitely am interested in. I hadn't realised that Robert Louis Stevenson actually wrote much more than Jekyll and Hyde, but it does sound exactly up my street. So, I think Ashleigh has come up with a better list than I have. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into Exeter, into Waterstones, and I'm going to buy the 5 books that Ashleigh suggested for me. So, let's go. I chose to go to Waterstones in Exeter because they have the greatest selection of books near me, and I knew that I would probably have more chance finding all the books I wanted here. As you can see, their fiction section is massive. I found first The Children of Jocasta by Natalie Haynes, and then I went to look for Robert Louis Stevenson's Tales of Southsea. However, they didn't have it, and no one could find it. Then I went, of course, to Jeanette Winterson and picked up The Passion with a lovely cover. And then finally, I went to find The Day of the Triffids, and I was so glad to get the white-spined Penguin Modern Classics, because I think I'm starting a collection of these books now. Since they didn't have the Tales from the Southsea, I was then tied whether I should get State of Sorrow by Melinda Salisbury, or even Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, as I had kind of ummed and ahed earlier. I also didn't film picking up Julian Barnes's England, because I hadn't realised what the book actually was, and I was looking in the non-fiction section, and then when I asked the lady who worked there, she took me over and picked it up for me. So yes, I ended up only getting 4 books in the end. I think I will get Tales of Southsea out from the library because I do know they have it there. And I wasn't sure I wanted to read the YA stuff because I was genuinely worried that I wouldn't enjoy it. But I am pleased with the selection that I bought. And I'm so happy that Ashleigh was able to suggest some really great books to me. And I cannot wait to read them. I will keep you updated. Bye bye for now.